There's a phase between beginner and profitable that nobody warns you about. It's not learning how to trade. You've done that. It's not finding a strategy. You already have one. It's the phase where you know exactly what to do, but you can't do it. You sit there watching yourself break your own rules in real time. You see the mistake as it's happening, and you do it anyway. This is the knowing-doing gap, and it's where most traders quit. Not because they're stupid, not because they lack knowledge, because they think they're broken. If you're in this phase right now, you're not broken. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. This is the hardest part of becoming a profitable trader, and the only way out is through. Let me show you why this phase is so brutal. When you're a beginner, you don't know what you don't know. You're learning. Every mistake is a lesson. You're not supposed to be good yet. There's no shame in failing because you're still figuring it out. When you're profitable, you execute calmly. You follow your rules. Trading is boring. You trust your system. You know it works because you've proven it. But this middle phase, you're stuck between those two states. You know what to do. You've tested your strategy. The rules are written down. But you still break them. And you know you're breaking them while you're doing it. That's conscious incompetence. And it's psychological torture. Because beginners don't feel stupid. They're learning. Profitable traders don't make mistakes. They're executing. You're stuck in between. Feeling stupid while making mistakes you know are mistakes. And on top of that, you're dealing with an identity crisis. Who are you? You're not a beginner anymore. You know too much. But you're not profitable yet. You're losing money. So what are you? A trader? Or someone pretending to be one? You scroll Twitter. You see others posting wins. They make it look easy. And you think, what's wrong with me? I know what they know. Why can't I do what I know? The self-awareness that helped you learn is now torturing you. This is one of trading's hardest phases. You have enough knowledge, but your execution falls short. Because we don't think about the psychological side of execution. We neglect it. That's why, even though everything is clear, we can't apply it that way. There's a gap between what we want to do and what we do. Because we only focused on the concrete side, we focused on charts, on analysis. But we never questioned what's happening in the background of execution. Today, we'll fill that gap together and transform your trading journey. Here's what the knowing-doing gap looks like. You know, higher time frame direction matters. You've seen it 100 times. Trade against the daily. You lose. Every single time. You know this. But you see a perfect 5-minute setup, and you take it anyway, knowingly losing money. Even though the 4-hour is trending the opposite direction, you know you shouldn't. You take it. It stops you out. And you sit there thinking, I knew that would happen. Or, you know, revenge trading destroys accounts. You've read about it. You've done it before. You've lost money doing it. You know, but you take a loss. And immediately you're looking for the next trade. Not because your setup appeared, because you're angry. You want the money back. You double your size. You take a marginal entry. It stops you out again. And you knew. Before you clicked, you knew this was revenge trading. And deep down, you knew you'd stop out because of it. You did it anyway. That's the gap. Knowledge is intellectual. Discipline is neurological. Your brain knows the right thing. But your nervous system isn't rewired yet. It's still wired for short-term relief, for feeling productive, for stopping the pain now, not for long-term profit. So you keep choosing the short-term option, even though you know it's wrong. Because while focusing on the concrete, we forgot the abstract. We didn't prepare our neurology, our psychology for this. And never forget, you will lose every battle your psychology isn't ready for. This is inevitable. How ready you are concretely doesn't matter. Every battle is won or lost psychologically first. The rest is just the procedure needed for that to materialize. That's all. Today, we'll fix this together. There are some things you don't know about this phase. And here's what makes this phase even worse. The false starts. You'll have 5 days of perfect execution. 5 days following every rule. You feel amazing. You think I've figured it out. Finally doing it. Then day 6 comes. You're a little overconfident. You take a trade that's not quite your setup. It wins. You think, see, I'm good at this. Then you take another marginal trade. And another. By the end of the day, you've given back the entire week's profit. And you're sitting there thinking, how did this happen? I was doing so well. Or you have 2 weeks of discipline. Perfect trading. Then 1 bad day. 3 losses in a row. And suddenly you're questioning everything. Maybe the system doesn't work. Maybe I need a different strategy. Maybe higher time frames don't actually matter. So you switch, you try something new, and the cycle starts over. That's the pattern. Progress, then sabotage, then restart. Repeat. Every time you restart, you doubt yourself a little more. Every false start makes you think, maybe I'm just not capable of this. And that doubt makes the next cycle even harder. Actually, the first signal that you have the wrong thought pattern came. If after win streaks you're thinking, I figured it out, you still have the wrong mindset. If you were properly prepared for this battle, how many times you won or lost in a row wouldn't have this much effect and wouldn't break your discipline. But since you still haven't prepared yourself enough, things you encounter on the road can easily turn you from your path. Because you're unprepared. You think you realize how hard this is, but you haven't internalized it. You don't remind yourself how easily complacency can ruin everything. You haven't internalized that there's no such thing as figuring it out. You're attaching too much meaning. Because deep down, you still believe there might be an easier, shortcut way than being disciplined and consistent every day. That's why you say, I figured it out. Because you want to figure it out. You don't need to figure it out. Don't listen to those selling you these lies. With any average profitable strategy, you can live that life you've always desired. Strategy isn't what makes the difference. You don't need to figure it out. This is just a manifestation of wanting to take the easy way. There are ways and perspectives that will increase the probability of you being disciplined and consistent. We should internalize and feed those, not search for a miraculous strategy. Most traders quit here, and they quit for different reasons than beginners quit. Beginners quit because it's too hard to learn. They don't understand the concepts. They don't know where to start. That's understandable. Profitable traders never quit. They're making money. Why would they stop? But this middle phase? You quit because you know what to do, but you can't do it. And that makes you think you're broken. You think there's something wrong with you. You're experiencing the reflection of being psychologically unprepared. And this is fixable. Everyone can follow their rules. Why can't I? That's the most painful reason to quit. Not because you don't know. Because you think you're incapable. You think maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Maybe some people can be disciplined and I'm not one of them. And that belief, that shame, that's what ends most trading careers. Not lack of knowledge. Perceived incompetence. We're always inclined to focus on what we see. We mostly ignore our inner world. But how can we physically obtain something we're not mentally adequate for? How can we physically win a battle we've lost psychologically? Let's say we won. How can we sustain it? There's work we need to do, but not on charts. So how do you survive this phase? First, expect it. This phase is normal. Every profitable trader went through it. It typically lasts 3 to 12 months. It's not permanent. You're not broken. This is part of the process. Knowing this doesn't make it easy, but it makes it survivable. Because you're not failing. You're progressing. Second, reduce your trade frequency. The more trades you take, the more opportunities you have to mess up. So take fewer trades. One perfect trade per day is better than 10 marginal trades. Quality over quantity. You're protecting yourself from yourself. Fewer decisions means fewer chances to make bad decisions. Third, paper trade, when you're tilted. Because clearly, even though you think about some things, you haven't internalized them. Knowing you shouldn't take that trade, but taking it anyway, is the sign. Go take it as a paper trade and witness it stopping out. Witness the cost of breaking your rules repeatedly until you can't break them anymore. Feel emotional, angry, desperate. Switch to paper trading. You can still practice. You can still watch your setups. But you're not risking real money in a bad mental state. This preserves your capital during the times you're most likely to blow it. And it keeps you engaged without cost. Fourth, and this is critical, start an emotional journal. Not a trade journal, an emotional journal. Every day, write down how you felt, what triggered it, what you did because of it. After a month, you'll see patterns. You'll see that you always revenge trade after 2 losses, or that you always overtrade on Mondays, or that you always break rules when you're stressed about something outside of trading. You can't fix what you can't see. The journal makes patterns visible, and once you see them, you can intervene. Just because someone tells you doesn't mean it happens, and to understand and overcome some things, you might need to make that mistake repeatedly. At least make these mistakes in the way that costs you the least. Lose $10 instead of thousands, or don't lose anything. Paper trade. Since you can't apply some things despite knowing them, proceed this way. Knowing things you haven't internalized on paper means nothing. See how important they are repeatedly until acting accordingly becomes inevitable. While a few experiences are enough for some, this can take much longer for others. Instead of fixing with so much overtime, you can also try internalizing the right behavior patterns. You need to teach yourself what you're doing and why. For example, why shouldn't you revenge trade? Because the biggest thing you're actually doing every time you revenge trade is disrespecting yourself. Because before that trade, you took a bunch of correct trades, but now, because of a single emotion, you're dismissing all of them. You're giving back the profit you gained by behaving disciplined with a single revenge trade. This is a huge disrespect to yourself. You're dismissing your progress. You're treating it like it means nothing. You're telling yourself, I'm not someone who acts with will, I act with impulses. And you're telling yourself, there's no harm in doing this. And when everything goes bad, you explode. You get angry. Not only did you strike yourself psychologically, you also harmed yourself physiologically. Your cortisol levels rise, your blood pressure rises. You increased your stress levels, congratulations. You inflicted maximum damage on yourself because of a single revenge trade. Do you really have no respect for yourself? No respect for your process? For your life? The reason for these might not be just one thing, but grasp how big the cost of every action like this is. Grasp it so doing it isn't this easy, because it shouldn't be. We should give ourselves the right messages. We should feed the right behaviors. We should keep the right thoughts alive. And we should do the right things, so doing the right things becomes ordinary, normal. When doing the right things becomes the normal of our life, being disciplined and consistent will just be a byproduct of your character. You won't even need to make an effort to do it. But if you continuously make room for and feed wrong behaviors, the process will lengthen. So you'll feed the right things, and the best thing you can do to accomplish this is take fewer trades. This will protect you from yourself. Let's continue. Fifth, celebrate process over results. This is how you rewire your brain. If you followed your rules and lost, that's a win. You did what you were supposed to do. The outcome doesn't matter. You should feel good. Tell yourself this. If you didn't make money and you followed your rules and you don't feel good at the end of the day, change this. You did what you needed to do. Congratulate yourself. What should have happened, happened. You fed the right behaviors. You actualized the right thoughts. You should feel like you did the right thing. Remind yourself of these, even say them out loud if necessary. You must give yourself the reward for following your rules. This is essential. If you broke your rules and profited, that's a loss. You were lucky, but you reinforced bad behavior, and reinforcing bad behavior will have a cost. It always does. Stop measuring success by profit and loss. Start measuring it by rule following. Did I execute my plan? Yes or no? That's the only metric that matters in this phase. And make yourself experience the consequence so you reinforce it. If you lost money by following rules, reward yourself and affirm you did the right thing. If you made money by not following rules, know this was a mistake and feel guilt for it, not reward. Never repeat it tomorrow. Sixth, cut your position size in half. Seriously, whatever you're risking now, cut it in half. This is the easiest and quickest way to reduce emotional intensity in your trades. This reduces the emotional intensity of every trade. Wins and losses hurt less, so your emotions don't swing as wildly. So you can practice discipline with training wheels. Once you're consistent for 3 months, you can increase size. But right now, make your mistakes cheaper. You should take such risk that your risk level shouldn't drag you into emotional ups and downs, but at the same time shouldn't completely kill the seriousness of the business. You should find that risk level for yourself. That's the best place. Seventh, implement this rule. 1 violation equals day over. If you break your rules once, stop trading for the day. Close your charts. Walk away. This makes rule breaking expensive, not in money, in opportunity cost. You might miss good setups the rest of the day. That consequence will condition you to protect your discipline, because if breaking rules means no more trading today, you'll think twice before breaking them. Eighth, use meditation as a refocus tool. 5 minutes before you trade. Sit. Breathe. When your mind wanders, bring it back. This trains the exact skill you need, noticing when you've lost focus and returning. In meditation, the anchor is your breath. In trading, the anchor is your plan. Same mental movement. You're training your brain to catch itself and come back. That's what separates pros from amateurs. Pros catch themselves before the mistake. Amateurs realize after. Doing this before sessions will also reduce your likelihood of acting impulsively. I'm sure you'll see the benefit. Please try it. So how do you know you're exiting this phase? Here are the signs. You follow your rules for 3 weeks straight, even on losing days, even when tempted. Losses don't trigger emotional spirals anymore. You take a stop and move on without anger or fear. You're starting to feel bored, and that boredom is a good sign. It means the emotional charge is leaving. You're spending less time looking at charts but getting the same or better results. Wins feel normal, not euphoric. You're not celebrating like you discovered gold. Just another trade. You trust your system more than you need to be right. You can take a loss without questioning whether your strategy works, and you can sit through a drawdown without panicking. These signs mean your nervous system is rewiring. You're almost through, because you're producing reactions to the right things. Following your system and stopping out shouldn't evoke negative feelings in you, shouldn't cause discomfort. If you still feel bad and get emotional when you do the right things and stop out, unfortunately, you're still operating from the wrong perspective. You need to fix this. When right behaviors meet wrong perspective, the only thing that happens is conflict, not flow. So internalize the things you know you need to do and make them align with your perspective. Live them. Go beyond just acting like it. Stopped out 5 times in a row following your rules? Great, you did the right thing. Reward yourself on the weekend. I know it sounds weird, but it's hard not to think losing is wrong. That's why something must be done about this. What actually changes at the breakthrough? Not your knowledge, you already knew what to do. Not your strategy, that already worked. What changes is your nervous system. It finally accepts that losses are normal, that you don't need to be right every time, that the plan matters more than your feelings. That boring is good. The shift is from trying to follow your rules to not being able to imagine not following them. Following rules stops feeling like discipline and starts feeling like default. Breaking rules starts feeling wrong at a gut level, not just intellectually. Your body rejects it. That's the breakthrough. And when it happens, you'll know. Because trading will suddenly feel easy. Not because the market changed, because you changed. This phase ends. For everyone who doesn't quit, it's not permanent. Your only job is to survive it. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be persistent. The traders who make it through this phase become profitable. Not because they're smarter, not because they found some secret strategy, because they didn't quit when it hurt the most. They survived the knowing-doing gap. They survived the false starts. They survived thinking they were broken. And on the other side, they found what they were looking for. Not because the phase taught them something new, because it rewired something old. Your knowledge was always enough. Your nervous system just needed to catch up. So if you're in this phase right now, understand this. You're closer than you think. The pain you're feeling isn't failure, it's transformation. Survive it. That's the whole game. Structure and transform everything to keep you more alive. Surviving psychologically is more important than anything. Otherwise, you can't win. Don't enter a battle you're unprepared for. Prepare for the worst case and the best case. And both should be normal. Shouldn't change you. See you in the next video.